What's up, guys? Beautiful day to a beautiful, crazy candle. Um, Jake is in the toilet. I was not in the toilet. I was at the beach about half an hour ago, and I had to get my daughter a bath. Okay, so let's take a look and see what's going on. We are taking a look at Chinggis's screen right
Oh,
at the moment.
man, we sure are. All right. Well, super quick, and then we'll bring up your chart. So we've been looking at this level for 6 days. We have finally touched down on the 20. This is where we need to realize the moment of, are we going to push past the 20 on the daily and go up to the 11.4 zone, which the next candle would be up here. So we'll call it 11.400, or are we going to find rejection? And if we find rejection, that should send it further down to at least retest 100 and more than likely break it. But we do, of course, have some other trend line levels here and some support resistance levels. So we'll have to see the volatility come to close, which is happening in the next 20 minutes. Very exciting.
Very, very exciting. Yeah, so from my chart this morning, I'm neither long nor short. I haven't actually been in a position in quite some time. I've just been shorting majors, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, ADA, whatnot. But I do like the way that this is starting to set up. For me, this 10,900 is the level that I really, really want to see broken. I did quite a big thread on this in the live update channel, but basically it lines up with the 50% fib from top to bottom. It's also the 1-day MA, which Mr. Chinggis has just covered. But that 20-day MA, I don't like to typically take longs below that. I like to look for longs above that. I like to look for shorts here, and we just tagged that, I mean, to the money. And like I said several times, this 100 MA is a good bounce point for the 20 MA. It was 12%. You could have definitely played it with leverage, but it was so choppy, so many wicks. They were just kind of stop hunting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This could have been a really good entry point once we broke this daily resistance here and closed above it. I just kept the timing of these pumps were 4 in the morning, and then like 1 in the morning, and then just now right before the daily close. But here's kind of mid-trend. I mean, yeah, we broke the 200 MA, 200 EMA, but we're now kind of right at resistance. So your RR is kind of basically like 1 there. And so it's tough when you're missing like these big moving candles, and they happen, when you're sleeping. Obviously you could set like, orders here, but they could always come back down to double bottom at the 9,500. There's so many different things that they could do, but that's neither here nor there. We are entering kind of bullish territory on the hourly. As you can see, we broke the 50, held it as support, and now we're penetrating up into the 70 on the 4-hour. We did hold that 50 level here, and we're starting to push up, but we're not quite up above the 70 yet, but we're holding that here for now. And then the daily is just now getting back above that 49.50 level. And so if this comes up and then drops back down and holds it as support, that's a really, really nice spot long position. And as far as the weekly, same thing. I've been waiting for the 21 EMA to get tagged to the downside here, and I've been waiting for this RSI to come tag the 54 level. But we're not quite there yet. But it would be nice to see it come down and tag that 54 level before entering like a really big position. And again, the weekly close was terrible. We're kind of dead cat bouncing right now off the weekly close, and we're still basically just ranging in through here. So nothing too crazy going on. I know it looks big, basically like a 12% move, but we're still in this really, really tight consolidation range. And for me, I just like to wait until it's a little bit more clear of whether or not we're just going to break out of this, push up and close above the resistance zone, or are we going to kind of trend back down because the volatility and the volume is so low. All right, what's up, guys? Chinggis, love the energy you bring with the videos. Yeah, I gotta up my energy, I guess.
Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry.
Snort a lot of coke before every video or something. I'm just kidding.
Thanks, Sonny. I think you just got me in trouble.
No, You're fired. I need a depressing co-host.
Get out of here.
Okay. ETHUSD, we are coming up against that big SR level at $200. So this is the place where you can start laddering in shorts, unless this level gets reclaimed, and that's when you can kind of close your shorts. A very obvious invalidation level. We do have the 20 coming up, but at resistance, we like to sell our positions or short our positions. We do not like to take longs for the most part. And let's take a look at Sealer. Okay, so another thing is I have taken over 1,000% of the trade. So every trade that gets issued on the website will be my own very personal trade. And so that will be very different moving forward, because every trade will basically just be my personal trade. And so Sealer was one of my personal trades. And I really like Sealer for a lot of different reasons, but it broke the 20 MA on the daily here, and it looks like it's going to close above it. And so when we get this downtrend break and we close above the 20 MA, that's when you want to start looking for longs. And we are in the buy zone right now. We actually pulled back all the way to the 77, 78 level. And so what I'm looking for is a close above the 20 and then a break and a push above this SR at 82. And then I think it'll just move right up to our target zone of the 50 MA. So should be a nice little 22, 23% trade there. LTC, BTC, let's take a look here. We are testing that lower support zone, which was in through here. It looked like we were basically about to break this downtrend, and then it looked like we were going to close above it. We did close the daily yesterday above it, but as soon as Bitcoin started doing its thing, we basically moved right back down about 4%, back to our lower buy zone. We are actually triple bottoming, quadruple bottoming. But hopefully we see basically just this, and then bounce up to a high side target. And on the 4 hour, same thing. We bounced out, we're coming back down, retesting. We have both a horizontal and a diagonal. So this is a really nice place to take a speculative long position. But again, if Bitcoin pumps and it pumps hard, then this thing just kind of might break the support level, and then you just kind of want to exit the trade and then ride Bitcoin up, just like we did with ZIL. And Algo. ZIL, this was not one of my trades, but we are on lower end support. I don't particularly like the way this looks after the breakdown today, but we are on this rising trend line, and so we had that stop loss at our lower buy-in entry. We thought if it hit that entry, then it would probably just sell off even harder. So this does look like it's kind of holding for now. But I don't like the weakness of the structure, just because we are below the 20 MA by quite a bit. So we might get a little bit of a mean reversion up to the 20 MA, but I think there are far better trades, especially with the way that this thing kind of reacts off the 20 MA. And then what was the other one? Look real quick.
I think it was, that Litecoin seller and
Link.
yeah, I think...
Link. Link is being is being a little bitch.
Link needs to step up that Web Summit, Web3 Summit.
I know, man. They need to hit us. Okay, so we had a nice little profit. We were up 5% yesterday. We could have closed it. And it looked like it had some potential. Obviously, Bitcoin pumping takes that dominance, and dominance is starting to move pretty hard. But we did get rejected on that 50 MA. We're holding the 7 EMA right now. It's possible we come back down to the 20 or the 382. We might move this stop loss to break even, looking at it on a lower time frame. I don't like the way that sell off looks right now. It had a lot of potential. It was moving pretty nice, but again, we hit that sell off. So 200 EMA, 200 MA, probably last stop for Link. And yeah, so I might move our stops up, just because the sell off is it's kind of looking like it's got a little bit of legs here. And so yeah, we might want to cut this trade. I might update that. Where are we at right now on the trade? 23,055. So we're like basically break even of our buy-in. 20. So we're at 23,000 right now. 23,000.
Like pulsating live.
I know, yeah.
It's either gonna buy the shit out of it and leave a fantastic wick, or it's gonna dump. What's your orange MA?
200 EMA.
200.
Yeah,
Or it's gonna tag that.
we're on the hourly, but
Oh, that's the hourly. All
yeah,
right.
I don't like the way this trend line looks. Okay, so you guys can close this trade. I'm not liking the way this looks. We might get a bounce on the 200 MA, 200 EMA, but I don't like that we broke that trend because I'm guessing we're gonna get a little bit of a deeper retrace here. I'm probably gonna close this trade too. Maybe the 20 MA. I just really don't like the way that 50 MA rejected us. What are you seeing on that? Is that are you?
For Link,
Yeah.
BTC. Well, you know what? I mean, overall, daily's really not too bad. I mean, it's got support lines right here. It did double top, right? And that's the local zone right here. So you had local breakdown at the 50. That's that slate line, a little hard to see. But overall, I mean, let's see what the retrace actually is from this top down to bottom. So, I mean, if we got stopped at a level that made sense, like the 382, I would say continuation. But not really. We're kind of just pushed up, broke, hit the 50, took a little pain. We're finding support at the 236. 236 gives us our local EMAs back. So 7 to 9 fast on the EMA is support. Push back. Now we broke through our 20. Be interesting to see if we can push it back up and leave a nice wick, similar to a candle like this or this or this, and close up above it would be fine. Close below the 20, that's getting bearish for me. I'm not a huge fan of that. But support on the 2-3 would be fine. Just a push up, come back, find support 2-3, push back up for the 3-8 next. But
yeah, just from look at the hourly though, and look at the trend. For me, it just looks like we'll be able to get a much better entry.
oof. Yeah, that hourly is kind of gross. I mean, we smashed that 100 MA as if it wasn't even there. The thing I don't like about the hourly is the support we had on the 100 is completely gone. And that's generally not good, right? We'll break it, find support somewhere else, probably the 200 EMA. The problem is when we come back, do we flip it?
Right. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get a bounce back up to the 100, and then we can close the position.
Yeah, I mean it's moving, like this thing's dancing around like crazy. So I wonder what are they doing? What does the actual buying look like here?
Yeah, we just bounced off the 200 EMA on the hourly.
So volumes drop in the last 4 periods. So from a decent hammer actually, and then we drop down 1, 2, 3 periods in a row. Right now we're starting to buy everything back. They might have found a happy level. Let's see, 22.7 if it coincides to something, but the 5-minute chart is just so choppy. It's hard to see anything. The thing is that they're buying it. If it was just a plunge, be a different story, but they are buying it. Regardless, it's bearish. On the hourly, you broke the 100, and that's just not good. This is bad. Tagging to 200 is nice. You could ping pong between the two. The issue is when we get back, like I said, do we flip it and turn it into resistance, or do we just break it like we did here and simply push back up? This is a pretty good wick. This is actually a fairly good indication of what happened prior, right? Although we were sideways to a down instead of up to a down, right? This broke down, a couple big wicks, pushed down, almost tagged the 200, pushed back up, but then broke it, right? The very next candle, broke it, pushed it up, and then we trended on it, right? We danced back and forth for a little while before finding support. That gave time for the 20 to come back underneath it. This 20 is essentially right here at price action. You just have to smash through it and break back up, but it's hard to say. I mean, the buying's in, they are buying it. Otherwise we see this thing dump. But again, volatility in the next 8 minutes, that's where it's like, yeah, they could easily take it down another 5%. And then, you're almost better off closing the trade, letting it settle out, let the new day start. And what's the worst that happens? It breaks up. We get confirmation that the 100's good. Wait for it to close above the 20, and then we got new highs. Yeah, that's all right. The whole structure itself is still leaning bearish, right? This local structure is still, to the downside. The 4-hour usually gives us pretty good indication on the 20. So broke the 20 on the 4. Now on the 4-hour, we tagged the 200 MA. That's this guy right here. So that's kind of a big deal. Found support on it, which is nice. Now that's one of the first times we had a reaction that makes sense. Now look at all the confluence with MAs here.
Yeah.
You got
no, I saw
the 200, the 50, the 200 EMA, and the 70 EMA all just kind of chilling in the same spot with a fairly good 100 MA way down in the distance, already made its curve, right? Already flatlined out and started pushing up towards local trend. And that takes forever. And you got to figure these 100 MAs, they have to flatline first. That's why that 200 is kind of like, hasn't really found its ground yet. But now we're nice and flat. So we're actually starting to get that little confluence here. The overall structure is, it's double toppy, right? That's essentially what we're looking at. How far of a drop do you get on this particular double top would be the question. And so far,
yeah, it's just not really like around, just the 23.6, but usually I'll see the 38.2 or at least the a little bit deeper.
Yeah. 382 would be nice. There's no real confluence with that except the double bottom. And then we'd essentially just go double top to double bottom and we give ourselves a nice little square of trading. So essentially you're looking at like this, that big block.
So we got
you pop up, push, pop, and then you got a channel.
6 minutes before the daily close. And this thing looks like it's trying to, I'm going to bring my screen over. Bitcoin looks like we're trying to push above the 10,900 level. We had 10,920. Yeah, pushing up against this resistance zone pretty hard. And that's really the last bastion before, for me, once we break that, then I'll definitely flip long on any pullbacks. I was waiting for a pullback. And this is kind of the hard part about waiting for pullbacks. I was waiting for a pullback to here, waiting for a pullback to here. And so sometimes you're not always going to get that, but yeah, so the harder that we push here, the further that these alts will fall. BTC.D, let's take a look at the dominance. Wow, yeah, dominance turned up. We're at 71%, and cruising up. If we followed the last few live streams, we've got this rising wedge structure. I don't know why that's over there, but got this rising wedge structure, and it just kind of crawled along support yesterday, and now we're bouncing back up. And so if this thing pushes up, this thing could, head all the way up to 72.5%. And if that's the case, we just want to avoid alts completely until dominance settles down again. Sealer down to 77, so in our lower buy zone. If we can't close above the 20, then yeah, well, we got to just watch all these trades. And again, if you're trading, you can always close those trades. If you're around and you see the trade acting pretty funny, if you see Bitcoin kind of going a little bit gnarly, make sure you just kind of close your trades and just kind of cut them at break even. So yeah, this daily candle is looking very strong. We've got 4 minutes to go, and we're closing above this previous daily resistance. And so this is looking more and more like buy the pullback, but we are testing the 20 MA, and we have not closed above that 20 MA yet. And so we'll have to see how this daily closing goes, see if we get trapped in anything, see if there's any sort of a sell-off. But right now it's looking very strong, and we're breaking out of this trend line resistance here.
Take a look at the range break on the 15-minute. It just said, forget about it. It smashed it, came back for a perfect retest, and just ran. Said, I'm out of here.
Yeah, right.
Ain't hanging around for nothing. Yeah, that's perfect. So the level that was kind of holding us back was this 10,730 zone, at least on Coinbase. And that's been all day, just all day. You come up, you hit it, you come down, you come back up, hit it. You could have done these 1% moves all day long, just playing the channel. But when we did break it, and we just did about a half hour, what is it? Well, a little while ago. Good move, good push back. This solidifies that we broke the range, we reclaimed it, at least on the 15, and good candle up. Big smash, 1% candle. A little bit of a drop, kind of testing that faster EMA, and then further upside right now. So really, really good. A break-it structure like that is nice. It's nice to at least see it reacting to those levels good. And the retest gives me better confidence that it doesn't necessarily need to come back. Although, a lot's gonna tell with that close and that 20 on the daily. It's kind of a big deal. See, so as we push up, because these are dynamic, right? They move, they'll push and pull with price. So you can see if you'll see it on Jacob's chart or my chart, as that candle just pushes price, it's just kind of dragging the MA with it. So in retrospect, right, when this thing finally closes and we get our next price action, if it's down, it's going to look like we, crossed over the, that's the, okay. All right. Shh. Okay.
Oh boy, that thing's
Sorry,
selling off, huh?
I know. So this is something we were looking at earlier. This is CMT. This does not look like my same chart. Let's go. Oh, I was on the hourly. Yeah. So this is just something that we look at just as we go through all charts. Really, everything is interesting, especially when they make big moves. So this is a huge downtrend. Nobody is contesting that we're in trend here. It's not exactly a double bottom. It is a bit of a higher low, which is nice. We like to see this. So it's, I'm not putting 100% confidence that this is a reversal. What it is just a nice thing to look at. Good push, right? And when these respect their pullbacks, generally they're going to give you the second wave or the second big push. If they don't respect the pullback and they just continue up, there's really no telling which is the top, except for some type of local support area where you could say like, all right, well, we're probably not going to get any higher than this, or this is where we're going to see our resistance. So we do like to see this. This is good. So I just kind of set that alarm to keep an eye on it. The breakdown, let's see, we pushed on the 20 right here, and that's for the 1 hour chart. So the 4 hour should give us a better look. There we go. All right. So as far as targets were on the big drop, right? The big push up ended up going right to the 200. Right? It's perfect. When it came back down, we found local on the 200 EMA, right? Resistance, push down. Right now we're finding support on our fast EMAs, 7 and 9. Right. So this is a trade it's worth looking at. If you were to take something like this, you could pop profit targets on here. Take the last big local move, local move, and then you want to. So I just have something up here that just shows me like a 1626423. This helps to identify targets. I base them not on the bottom, like I do it a little bit different. I do it on the last big move, right? So the last big pullback that creates this move is where I pull these from. So I think somebody was asking about trend line fibs and fibs. This is very similar to that. I'm not basing it off the bottom and then the top of the move. What I'm doing is I'm taking the prior move that created this move, and that's what I'm targeting. I want to get the 1.6 off this, right? I don't really care about this right now. I want to get the 1.6 off that, meaning that this should ladder up, if it respects it, to 2.6, 3.6, 4.2. More often than not, we don't get a 3.6. It just skips, goes from the 2 to the 4.2. But you got to look at structure on something like this. So, like, you're going to get resistance here. This is almost a guarantee. So we were talking earlier about taking profits, or why do you have multiple profit targets? This is one of those reasons. Sure, you're targeting the 4.2, but you got some meat in your way, and you got to take care of that. Now, classic W patterns, they're going to go body style, right? Usually on a 4 hour chart.
Real quick, I just want to kind of point to Bitcoin. We are pushing 10,953 after the daily closing. Looks like buy programs kind of picked that up. We're pushing outside of that resistance zone, and this thing's looking really strong. I may close Litecoin here if it doesn't start reacting. We're sitting on basically like the bottom low support. This is where we would be buying, but it looks like with Bitcoin dominance rising, these alts the setups are just not there right now. They just keep breaking down, unfortunately. So let's take a look at Link, see how that's holding up. Oh yeah, that's looking.
Oh boy, what happened?
Testing the 200 EMA yet again. Yeah, if this holds, that's fine. But if this breaks, definitely want to cut that trade and just kind of ride Bitcoin up. Looks like we got a little bit of a topping candle on the hourly. Hopefully we get a pullback from here. Yeah, I'm still flat. I'm not trying to rush a trade at all. I don't like to play kind of mid-range trades or kind of like tough to determine the direction. The way that they were coming after stop losses, it just seemed better to just kind of wait for a little bit of a better setup. We do have an RSI channel, definitely bullish control here. So right now, I'm mostly looking for pullbacks instead of looking for, instead of trying to chase a rally like this, wait for pullbacks. Sometimes you don't get them, like, you see this, you see that, you don't really get a pullback anywhere. It's just kind of, you have to buy into the range, which, you can definitely do that instead of stop loss below like a key moving average or something like that. But I just prefer to see like some sort of an SR flip and just get a better entry just kind of overall. And sometimes you'll miss a little bit of the entry, but for me, it's just about being patient and waiting for those high probability setups. You guys want us to take a look at anything in specific or in general? Just let us know. We definitely can do that. I have to go get my daughter to bed real quick, and I will let Mr. Chinggis take it over and cover some charts, go over the Bitcoin close, how he's playing it, what he's looking for as far as trades are concerned.
All right. So yes, we did absolutely close that coin down. That's fantastic. We're 23 seconds away from closing down our first 5-minute candle, which was bullish. So we did see buying coming in. We did see a little bit of volatility, but for the most part, right, we're still under the 20, right? So we weren't able to get that last, $50, $60 push to get up and over the 20 and close above it. So I'm still using it as a, it's a hat, it's a ceiling. It's a visual guidance. It's very easy to tell once the candle surpasses it, and then the kind of reaction that we get once that happens. So, it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game for Bitcoin. Scaling back down onto like the 5-minute chart is nice because you can at least see the way it breathes, right? So you can see the buying, and then you can see the volume interest in that buy. You can see the pullback, and then you can see the volume interest in the pullback, right? And then you see there's more buyers, right? So now you have more people buying. There's more people interested, and then you have more of a pullback, but it's about the same interest in sell-off. But then you got that next push up and very little volume, right? Less people buying. So, you could break that down candle by candle, but what this tells me is there was a surge. People got interested. They sold for a pullback. No problem. Took a little profit. No big deal. Push back up again. Big surge, right? About the same sell-off. So, same people took profits. No big deal. But then what should have been the big hyper volatility before the close had less interest than prior. Right. So I'm not sold yet. I'm just not sold yet. I need to be over that 20 and we're not there. So I'll let that play out. No big deal. Like Jacob said, there's no need to rush into a trade. For me as well, I mean, this is my level here. This is my second ceiling. So if and when we do push past the 20, right, we still have another very strong resistance. Bang, 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 maybe, or dump. All right, now, the thing about the area that we're in, right, we talked about yesterday about C-clamps, right? So this is your clamp. You have a ceiling and you have a floor, right? So this zone right here is what we're looking at trading-wise. Okay. Now you don't want to ping pong just this because, on a daily chart, you'll be there literally all day. And it's not a channel, right? This is just in between moving averages. The white one is the 100 and the red one is the 20. So I look for resistance on the top side, support on the bottom side. Now, historically, with the 100, right, you get that one touch, sometimes two, right? But this is our first touch since trend, and we had a good reaction. Double touch, good reaction. I would think another touch breaks it. I'm telling you, these bigger MAs, super fragile. The smaller and faster the MA, the more touches, the more reactions, the more support, the more resistance you'll get. These bigger guys, 100 more so than the 200, 200 more so than like a 350 or a 700. But still, two touches, three, I'm not putting any money on it. Three is breaking in my eyes. And you can back test any of that. Just go back on a chart that has enough history and see how it reacts in an uptrend, or in any trend, really, to 100 or 200, MA or EMA, right? They're going to react differently, and see how many touches you get before it breaks down. And if it breaks down, it's not like we're out of trend. Look at this. Look at this freaking uptrend. You think we break down over here, we're out of an uptrend? Not even close. All right. So, but again, it's something to watch for, something to look at. Like I said, I'm not convinced at all about anything. We already have selling coming in, so we'll see. Time will tell. So it's a little early, but at least we have reaction, right? At least we can look at the chart and see something, and something's happening. That's one thing. So let's go over the numbers for the day. We opened the candle of 10,315. We had a high of 10,938. That's where we just closed it out. The low was 10,265. So, approximately $70 or so down from the open. And we close it out again at 10,920. So I'm sorry, the high was 10,93. We close it out at 10,92. So we did actually lose a little bit on the close there. All in all, it was up $600 plus 5.86%. So really not bad. All right, now on the weekly, what did it do to our weekly? It's good. We're 2 days into our weekly now, so we're 48 hours of trading. All in all, this is what we want to see. Touches on the bottom, touches on the top. We are right in the middle, and we have regained support on our fast EMAs. All right, so again, the weekly, it's like watching paint dry. So not a whole lot we could do with this right now, but it is good to know where we are. This will give you an idea of how close we are to the swing fail on a weekly perspective, right? So when you look at our weekly, you're like, we're right there. Well, we are. We are right there. All right, and that's what we're looking at on the daily chart, right? We're showing that we're right there, but we got some resistance. Gonna need some deep pockets with some buying, some spot buying. Push that puppy up there. We already touched on dominance, but here's another view of it right here. So dominance, again, we're in this rising wedge, right? We have this much bigger, longer support. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches. One crossover with swing fail, push back, looking for support. And then, push back up, see if we do a double top in this area. If not, smash zone, right? So, again, now we're sideways, right? We were 1, 2, 3, almost 5 days straight down, coming right to our retest. Didn't get it, just sideways hovering right now, which is okay. As long as some alts are moving and they're getting a little bit of love, it's fine. We don't need to, we don't need to like hyper focus on that, but we do need to stay certainly aware of what's going on. All right, so back to this. I just want to show you the setup, right? This isn't necessarily a trade to take, but this is an idea, because the one really cool thing about crypto that other markets don't necessarily have is I don't know how to say it properly. It's the resemblance from one chart to another. So you're not going to just see this on one chart. You'll probably see it on like 30 charts. So what you do is you sort of map it out, right? And you kind of watch, right? And if it does what it's supposed to do, then you could try to replicate that on other charts, right? As they start forming, the situation here, then, you have an idea of what to look for. So, most people aren't going to look at this and they're going to say like, yeah, that's a trade. The difference is I've seen this. I've seen it a lot. And more often than not all the time, but more often than not, it does work. So the idea here, right? You come down, you got a nice strong impulse. You had one sort of like false break. I call it a false break. These candles are just about identical. Everything you got, you lost, but it was a test, right? And a very important test, right? Because this was your last test of the 20 on the 4-hour chart. All right. As you came down, you found support. This is your swing fail prior to your high before your low, right? So these are levels to keep in the back of your head. All right. So we're swinging back down. Again, right? Fast EMAs, we lost them both. False break, no big deal. Push down, make a bottom. We don't know that it's the bottom, right? But we know it's lower low. Push up, come down, push back up, swing fail, right? So we're still very much in our downtrend, right? We have our high, we have a low, we have a lower high and a lower low, right? Then we have our lower high, and then we have a higher low, but we're still within like a micro trend. So I'm not really paying attention to that. So now we look at a low, right? And then we look at a high, then we look at a higher low, and then we go, oh, wait a minute, what happened right here? We made a higher low, right? So this is reason to like pause. You know what I'm saying? So like in the trend, all you're doing is going down. You got one reprieve and then down, right? That's it. And then you got the false break. So, again, I don't really care about that. But here you have a change in momentum. Here you have a shift in trading. Here you have the opportunity to now create a new trend. What do you need to do? You need a new high, right? That means everything. So this high is higher than this high. So first time in the trend, now you have stopped trend, and now you've created, if only just locally, you've created a new trend. So let me get my thing out here so I can properly look at that. And I'd like to just throw like, it's just an ABC, just like to throw it on there and just see what we got, right? So generally like a 618 pull would be fantastic. 0.59, pretty close. And then like a 127 to a 168. And we got a 1423, which is basically a 141. Perfect, right? So what does this show? Strength and trend, structure. It shows that it's respected. It shows that on the pullback, the buying was strong. All right. But then we got a big dump. So now you're scratching your head saying, well, what the hell? I thought we were in trend. This is garbage. All right. All we did was just make lows. But are they lower? No, they're not. Higher low. So now what do you have? Well, now you have a bigger trend, don't you? That's right. You have a low and you have a high. Then you have a higher low. Now what do you need? Now you need a high that's higher than here. Boom. What do you got? Right? So now you're starting to look at what reversals look like. Now, granted, this is on the 4-hour chart. Daily chart, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay? Daily chart without all the muck, bang, just like that. Okay? So when you look at previous times this happened, you have to take that into account, right? Came off a big downtrend, right? You had a big smash up, and then you just went sideways, dropped back down again, higher low, right? So that's cool. Push back up, huge gains, big false break, dumped it all down, gave you a lower low, right? So this is a situation where we don't call the bottom. That would be silly. We don't know that this is the bottom. We just know that there's opportunities within the pattern. And that's what this is. We look at opportunities. Okay. So now, wait, oh, there we go. There's all my drawings. All right. So now, what did we talk about, right? We came back down, found support. This is a key level. I like this level. Smart, but it's not the level. This is the level. Why is this the level? This was the level that we failed to break through once, twice. It held all of this back. So all of this trading under here, it's all like repressed. You know what I mean? You weren't able to trade over it. Something was too strong. And when something's too strong, when you do break through it, is that not meaningful? Of course it is. That's huge. But what do we talk about all the time? You break a level, you flip it, you close above. What do we want it to do? What do we always want it to do? Come back down and confirm it. Give it a retest, right? You know, big deal. Just give it a retest. Why? Well, one, we want to fill up. And two, we want to know for sure that we flipped this properly to support. All right. It was support. It went to resistance. It stayed resistance. It was key resistance, right? And then we broke it. We broke it like it didn't even exist. But we broke it on such strength, on such volume, right, that now everyone's paying attention. It's a 16% move. And not only that, before the drop, right, it was up 30%. So, you know, we're on a 4 hour now. You look at the hourly chart, right? And you had that big wick up there, right? So you had a little bit of struggle. Not that you had struggle, but you had a little bit here. You couldn't quite do it in this candle. You needed the next candle to show up, right? And when you did, that's great. You got it. You pulled back down. You didn't quite get the retest. It's a little shallow. You know, people were a little confused. They were like, are we gonna do more? Or like, what do you want to do? I'm like, no, guys, stop buying it. Stop buying it. Sell it. We need a retest. Okay, we got it. So the retest is good. I like doing this sort of thing on the 4 hour chart. It kind of chunks it down a little bit. Now, how do we know it worked? Right? Well, we don't. We look for a few key things. One, we look for top side level, right, on resistance. That's this level right here. This is the level that took the low out, right? This was our lower high on the downtrend. This is the one that invalidates the downtrend. This is the level that matters. Confluence with support on a hesitation candle on the way down is always ideal. You don't always get it, but it's always ideal. All right, so that's what we look for. This, and we look to come down and find support on that. Now, the aggressive trader, I always say there's two traders, right? There's the aggressive trader, and then there's the conservative trader. The aggressive trader, you don't really wait around for much. He's going to go over here and say, well, this is my buy zone right here, and I don't care. I'm just going to buy it. Okay, well, you know, you're not going to be right 100% of the time. If you are, you know, cool. And that's good. And I'll show you how to pull these profit targets. If you're wrong, well, then you're just back in this channel. And now we're going to call this a channel. And that's what we're going to play off of. We're going to call this channel, and we're going to make it a range, and we'll play it until it's no longer a range, right? So good for you. Now you're in trouble. So everybody else would be the conservative trader. What does the conservative trader do? The conservative trader will wait for support on the 1 hour chart to push and close above. That's it. So here's your zone. Here's your range. I like to fluff it a little bit. I like to give it a percent or two, right? Why? Because it's crypto and everybody seems to front run everybody in crypto. So I'm not convinced until something actually happens. And I like to see that happen on the 1 hour chart. Ideally, you would see it on the 4 hour chart. But I understand people, they just want to like anxiously jump into trades. That's not the right thing to do. But if you did want to get in a little sooner, look for a reaction on the 1 hour chart. Look for it to break up into that zone, close above, and then you would go long. That's your buy indicator. All right, now, how do you get targets? Okay. So we talked fibs the last few days. I know there's a couple people in Discord that are sleeping right now that want some fib classes, and we record these so they go back after lunch and watch them or whatever they do. So we're going to talk about that for a minute. I briefly talked about how I pull these fibs for the sanctity of targets. So let me get rid of these MAs real quick. We'll talk fibs. All right. Now, first things first, right? Look at the price action. Look at the actual chart. What do you see? We got a bunch of range. We got a swing high. We got a low. We got another high, right? Okay. So take what makes sense to that time frame. All right. I don't need to see the monthly or weekly chart and put those fibs for this move. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I don't care. These fibs mean nothing to the current move I'm looking at. So keep that in perspective as you're laying these fibs down. Second, fibs will always show you future. Okay? And by that, I mean, when you lay a fib, right, you're not looking for what happened. You're looking for what's going to happen. All right? So if I lay a fib from top, magnet to bottom. And here's another thing we could do. We could talk about that another day, but let's just simply get yourself some defaults, and it just makes life a little bit easier, of course, if you grab the right one. Okay. So now, what you'll see a lot of people do is drag that over, right? And that's perfectly acceptable. What we're doing here, since we measured a top to a bottom, we're looking for this. All right? We're looking for the future. This, even though it seems like it's super well respected, yeah, that's great. A test to the 7, drop, perfect support on the 382, dump back down, hesitation on the 2-3, bang, and you're one. Okay. But what we're looking at is this. This is your 100 line. This is your 0 line. So what does that mean? Simply put, when you're at the 236, you've recovered 23.6% from this level. All right. We're calculating that from this high to this low equals 100%. And when we're at the 236, we've recovered 23.6 of it back. We got it back. 382, 38% back. 50, 50% back. And onward a number, 61, 70, 78, 88, 1. The 1 for 1 is 100%. That means we're back. We're back to the top. We're back to where we started, right? So when you lay the fib, you're looking at potential areas of resistance on the way back to 1. Does that make sense? Now, quick and easy trick you could do if you want to maintain, you got the magnet on here, you're like, yeah, this thing's super sweet. You're at 255 sats, just double click it, not the horizontal ray, double click your indicator, go over to coordinates and change the bar number, right? 255, and just make it like whatever, like 250. Not enough? 280. Still not enough. All right, so we got to make it a 3. 3, and we'll call it like 340. Perfect. So now you are like 100% locked in. Now I know you can come over here and you can extend the lines. There's all sorts of fun things you could do. Play around with this. You know, you could do that and it automatically brings it over. I don't like that. I don't like it all the way over there. All right. And I don't like having like way too much information. I have the fib, which I really don't need, but I put on there for other people when they look at charts. But I don't need it because I do a color scheme. You could do one too, right? Very simple. Just change the colors. All right. My golden pocket and key zones between the 5 and the 618 and the 618 and 706. That's why these are different colors. Red and green, very obvious. I can see it on my chart from a mile away. All right. And then I got kind of like a light gray to a dark gray to a darker gray, whatever. All right. So you could do that. You could change your background. All right. You can make it like no background. You can make, well, whatever. You know, if you guys need a lesson on setting up fibs, you know, we can absolutely do that. But here's the deal. You got your low, you got your high. So what is all this? These are resistance levels. These are areas of resistance. Now, confluence is what you're looking for. So we came up, this was a solid move all the way up to the 5. 50% of this move literally in a day, in one day, 2 4-hour candles, boom, boom. All right. Now from the 50 down to the 2-3. Now the 2-3 is below our range. Here's our range. Here's the 2-3. So if you were to be the aggressive buyer and you've already bought, right? If you don't find support of the 2-3, get out of the trade, right? Because you could make new lower lows, right? There's no saying this is going to stay here. Anyway, so when you push back up, right, it's an entirely different story. As you approach the 618, you may see resistance. Is there any confluence here with any other bigger trend? Not really. Typically, you would see something, but you don't. So don't worry about it. Push back up, 706. What do you got? Top side rejection and hesitation during the drop, right? These are always little areas to look out for because price will typically have some kind of reaction. So this is really important. This level at 706, if I looked at nothing else, I'd say, all right, well, that's a profit target right there. That's an area where I might want to get out of the trade. Now, as we look at this whole structure, accumulation to a drop, to a higher low, to a big push, right? This is an area of importance. It always is. Always. Right? So this is the big drop. What's the big drop? Well, let's get this out of here for 1 second. 786 almost to the nose. What does that tell you? That tells you that's huge. All right? That's an area I want to focus on for either a profit target or I'm definitely going to see some type of reaction and I want to sell and buy the pullback. Now, like I talked about before, you could, right, throw this on here and then you're looking for from, let's say, low, right, to high, right, and you want to see what the pullback actually was. That's fine. Just because you got this bigger one on here doesn't mean you can't measure out your current move. So we'll call that 360, bang, bang, bottom of the move, top of the move. We found support right here, right? Just about the 5, which is good. It's a good 50% pullback, right? And then you look for further upside. Now, what I do is, let me just delete that. What I do is I take another fib and I take that move. I take that first pullback in trend. So now we have a low We have a high and we have a higher low. I take this measurement right here. I go over to one of my templates. One of my templates is set up as targets. And bang. Now, I don't need all that junk in the middle. I don't care about it. What I care about is this. The 1618, the 2618, the 3618, the 423. Now I look for confluence again. So the 16 we already hit. 16 was kind of like body resistance, right? Candle stop. This is all wicked. This is good. That's a good level. I like it. Push back up. I'm not worried about resistance on the way back up because I'm looking for something strong like this. Something strong. Push back up. Now, 2-6. 2-6. It's not great. All right. I'll be honest with you. It's just sort of like in the middle of this wick, and it's in between the 706 and the 618. The interesting thing about this is that's considered, right? Well, I mean, not as, I wish I could say there was something like super interesting about it, but it is just kind of in the middle of nowhere. And that's too bad. I wish this example was a little bit better, but hey, that's life. And it's not. So we deal with it. The 2-6 over here, I would have to make a decision. Am I going to look for profits? Am I going to look for resistance? Now, what did I say before about the 706? It looked really good, really good. And if I'm going to front run it, all right, then here's what I'm doing. I'm going to say I'm going to start at the 7.0 and I'll bring it down to the 2.6. So now I feel a lot better about actually reclaiming the 2.6 and not like getting short in front of it. I roll right into it and look for resistance at the 7.0. All right, now we have this next area up here, and that's going to be tough to pass. And as you look at other charts and other alt charts, you'll see this big bowl shape coming from a big, huge drop of accumulation. And then one of two things is going to happen, right? You'll have something huge up here. You'll come up and you'll fail, right? You make this big W pattern and you fail to make a higher high. It becomes a huge swing low, swing fail. And then that's the end of the trend, right? I mean, that's essentially it. Or you come up and you find resistance on previous structure. So it's like a huge support resistance flip. What we've seen is they sort of smash their head on it for a little while, and then they paint themselves a nice ascending triangle, and then they smash it. The other thing it's going to do is reject it heavy, and then that's a wrap. Trend's over. All right, so all the profits were at the 2.6. This thing's got no more love in it. It's over. It's been fun. See you later. All right, so you have to watch for that. You just have to be, cognizant of that. If you just want to get the hell out of the trade, just get out of the trade, right? And if you do see a huge pullback and it looks healthy within trend, then you buy back and you shoot for the 4.2. All right, otherwise this is all chop, and it would have to smash through the chop to get to the 2.3. Now, I do look at the 3.6 because we do hit it. And the 3.6 in this example is really good because it's like the top of this channel. So if you have this like zone right here, resistance, drop down, push up, resistance, drop down, push up, resistance, false break, bang, and then fail to even attempt. And there's your new low. So this is a really good level. That level, confluence with the 3.618, I'm cool. I'm happy with it. All right. So now that you have these like targets, right? Now you have to remember this probably won't all happen in the next, 4 periods. Although it could, but it probably won't. So you want to take a look at your dynamic support resistance on a higher time frame, right? Because we've exhausted everything. Everything has been used up to the 200, right? We got nothing left, right? So the 4-hour chart is not going to give us the type of dynamic support resistance we're looking for. So you could try a few different things. Every now and then I'll look at the 6-hour. Every now and then I'll look at the 12. I'm a big fan of the daily chart. But why don't we start at the 12, half the daily, and just see what we're looking at? We're looking for confluence, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for, a reason to take profits right here. Why? Okay, We have the 706. We have the 2618. We have previous structure high rejection, and we have the 100 MA on a 12-hour chart. That's great. That's really good. Push up over here, right? Maybe as price comes up, it drags this up a little bit more for a little better confluence. 3618, 200, 12-hour MA. Kind of a big deal. Now, breaking the 200 MA and the 200 EMA to get to the 423, 12-hour chart, that's asking a lot. So what would we do if we saw that? Maybe not target the 423. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to be super greedy. There's tons of trades out there. This particular trade alone, just to the 3.6, 42%. Come on. It's fantastic. Would we want 50%? Sure. Are we happy with 42? Absolutely. All right, but that's just a 12-hour. Let's see what the daily has, right? Because I put a little bit more weight into the daily chart. Now, the daily chart puts the 100 MA basically right at our 3618, which will move as price pushes up. It'll drag it up ever so slightly, which is enough to call that confluence. What do we have converging over here at our 706? Not our 618, not our 5, not our 382, not anywhere in between, right at our 706. Just so happens to be our 50 MA and our 70 EMA right here at our 2618 previous structure highs and our 706 on the current pullback. Huge. So this gives me more confidence in taking profit targets in this general vicinity, in this zone. And I'm okay with a 2-3% zone. I'm fine with that. I'll ladder sells out. I'll split it up into 5 and I'll evenly displace them from the high side to the low side. And I shoot for all 5 to get hit. But if only 2 or 3 get hit, it's fine. I adjust what I have left, and that'll be either a buyback on a pullback or that'll go into the next profit target. 100 MA on our 3.6. We'd have to break that to get to our 4.2. So I'm done with the 4.2. I'm done with it. I'm over. I'm not even considering it for this trade anymore unless something really changes my mind. Massive momentum, huge volume, maybe even some fundamentals come in. Who knows? But for now, my target would be 3.6 on the high, 2.6 on the first. So profit target 1, profit target 2. We have already talked about when I get into this trade, what I'm looking for. And let's say I'm looking at it, on the hourly, and I want to get in quick. And I'm looking for a close and break above my little zone here. And when I get it, I'm cool. I'm cool to go in. And if I don't get it, hey, I save myself a miserable trade. And if I wait for the 4, I have more confidence. This thing might even go all the way up to the 382. And, that's it. This is your pullback. It's either going to make or break. It's either going to find support or it doesn't. All right. If it finds support, wherever it goes, it's a buy. If it doesn't find support, then, be thankful you never took the trade. And that's, so yeah, that's it. So Jacob's back. So I hope that kind of helped you guys. It's just kind of like a walk through, like an entire setup from, spot to checks to confluence to different time frames, different things to look for. So if it helped, awesome. Let me know. If it didn't help and I confused you further, there's no refunds, buddy. I'm sorry. Let me pop over to chat real quick. Let's see what's going on here. Turner BCC pairs. It is because it's just crossed 10.9. Isn't holding fairly well. KNC BTC for Matthew. What are some pullback targets for BTC? Let's take a look at BTC. So we did find resistance at the 20. Looks like, all the buying that happened ended up failing. Just kind of stalled out here. A little bit boring. you're looking for pullbacks to get in long. We haven't solidified a long yet, so there's no pullback for a long. We want to cross the 20 before we go long. Let's see. So we're thinking BTC will break out of the pennant and not follow the TA from 2 days ago with the pitchfork. So when Jacob gets back on, I think you're talking about the much longer pitchfork. Is that the one where he did the analysis with the 21 EMA and the RSI? Matt, if that's the case, just put a yes in chat. Let me take a look at that.
Yeah, the long-term pitchfork.
There you is. Matthew said amazing stuff. Thank you, Samuel. That was awesome. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. And Matt said yes. So he is talking about the long-term analysis. Yep. So Jake,
I'm still expecting that to play out. Yep. 10,900 is the level, and it's not breaking yet. It's at 10,864. So yes, I do want to see 10,900 break and hold. If it starts to turn down from here, then I will most likely enter a low leverage short. But yeah, let me pop up that weekly real quick. So yeah, so we're basically in the same. We want a 14 period RSI. Yep. So same channel. We have to break basically like 12,500 to break out of this channel, but I do expect us to come down to this blue level, which is the 21 EMA. But now the further that price moves up, again, this moves up as well. So it could be 9,600. It could be 10,200. As this moves up the channel, if it doesn't come back down, I still expect us to touch that 21 weekly MA, and I expect us to come down and test this 52 RSI. Just history rhymes. History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. Or what's that saying go? History doesn't rhyme, but it often does something. I don't know.
Is rhyme in that saying?
History doesn't repeat.
Just history repeats itself.
No. History doesn't. What's the phrase? You guys probably know.
Come on, chat.
Come on, chat. Share other Fibonacci setting. I'm confused on which levels to leave active. What do you mean?
Okay. Yeah, because bullish. We all use the same levels. You should have seen on mine the same thing you see on Jacob's. I have different templates, but the numbers are all the same.
Okay, I'll take a look at KNC in just a second, Matthew. Okay, so the levels that I have for BTC, this is on a logarithmic chart. We're at 78.6. We found support in the 61.8. The 11.5 is at 70.6. That's from the swing high to the swing low. If we take it off logarithmic and we look at linear, we bounced off the 38.2. We're coming up to the 50, which is also the 11,479. And so that 38.2 was a key support zone at 9,500, 9,600. And that basically is where that weekly MA is. If we can also draw a support line kind of down here, and it tagged it really nicely. And so we're basically in a pennant consolidation. And these are, or symmetrical triangle consolidation. And these usually break up in the direction of the prior trend. But we do have some divergences, and we do have some kind of momentum that's losing, but we are holding that 42 RSI on the daily. So far we're holding bullish, kind of mid-range. Nothing like super crazy about this chart, but this 50% fib is definitely resistance. This 38.2 is definitely support. So we're kind of ranging in between here. We can play the chop, but for me, what's been easier is just playing these altcoins. Link did get a little bit of a bounce here off of the daily closing on the 23.6, as Mr. Ching has said they would, which is looking pretty good.
He's just hoping, didn't know.
Well, actually, we're kind of closing below the 23. We had that bounce, and that's the point where we could have closed kind of break even. Weekly, I just saw a colleague post some weekly stuff, and they basically said MACD crossed the downside, rejection on the top side, bearish momentum. So I don't know. There's kind of a back and forth. I saw another analyst just post a long up to 28,000. That's kind of where our first target is. So
That is a good break and retest, though, just of that level. I
yeah.
mean, just on your upper trend, it's a good clean break. Come back down,
Um,
retest.
and then on the last stream, we went over 2 intraday trades. One was one. And basically one popped off really nicely for about 16% profit. So if you could have taken profit anywhere in there. Looks like we're holding a trend right now. If you want to continue to hold your trade, you can hold it until this trend line breaks. So that was one nice intraday trade. Let's take a look at Loon. Loon kind of holding this lower support. I feel fine about the trade for now. It's above the 38 level on the RSI. Still kind of in bullish control, decent pullback. And I think this pullback level was 78.6. So we're still holding this 78.6 level for a potential double bottom before we kind of pop off from there. And then the other one was Matic. I put that in the continuation trade channel. Got a beautiful break off the 133 level, and it popped all the way up to 149 for a solid 12% profit. And it's pulling back now, but again, looks pretty healthy. Is still in bullish control territory. And this is one of those coins that's getting added to Coinbase. If you took profits on the 133 zone, it looks like we might come back down and test the 135, 136. And then let's take a look and see if any alts were moving. Storm, not really. Hypercash, yeah, we flipped that level. Awesome. Hypercash was one that I was looking to see if we were going to get any sort of bullish reaction because we had this move. It actually didn't get down to my buy zone, unfortunately. Buy zone was basically 68.2, where this really big pop was, came back down and then popped off from here. So I'll be watching that. I still want to wait till where's all the trades? I only see the ones in the site. Yeah, in Discord I post a ton of trades. I post trades in the continuation channel. On the site, mostly for like amateur traders, I try and keep the trades to about 2 to 3 trades maximum, so they're really easy to manage. I was at one point having 4 or 5 up to 10 trades, and I noticed that it was way too much. Sorry, I took a bite.
You okay over there?
Yeah, I took a bite. Little snack.
Little snack.
But if you do want to take more trades, then check out my continuation trades, my intraday trades, my reversal trades. Lots of trades you could take in there. I post a bunch of different charts with entries, stop losses, and targets. So yeah, feel free to take a look at that channel. Okay. Anything else you guys want me to cover? Any specific charts?
No, KNC. Yeah, we're asking for KNC. KNC BTC.
Yeah, KNC was another one of the trades that I looked at for a potential long. Yeah, the same thing as AST, looking solid. Nice. Oops, let me look at the daily. I know this doesn't look like much, but the order book and the volume and the way that it's acting looks like it wants to break up here for a nice long trade. So decent trade. I just hold it unless it kind of breaks this lower low. Then I would cut it from there. But for now, I expect something to look like this. We go boop, 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 and we get like a nice decent pop. Even just an SR flip is a nice little 16% trade. So that's what I was looking for on KNC. And then AST, same thing. I'm just looking for a nice little pop up to here for like a 20, 30, 40% trade. I think we should get a little bit of an SR flip, momentum shifting to the upside, coming out of oversold territory. That's about it. Not too much else. Let's look at gold. I keep talking about gold. I don't know if any of you guys play options. 1506. Trump's talking about some fundamental stuff. Trump's talking about wrapping up trade tensions, which is not good for gold. So we should get our pullback that we're looking for into that 1353, 1370 zone, maybe a little bit higher, maybe here. So definitely one to watch out for. Pull back to the entry and then play some call options from there. And then what else? Anything else happened today?
SPY was kind of boring.
A little gap up. And then,
Technology took some good runs. Microsoft was good. AMD was good. I think Facebook had some news. Overall, fairly quiet.
ooh, Twitter's still flagging, bro. Twitter's looking like it's gonna pop off here pretty soon. Nice little bull flag, bullish pennant at 41.70. If you can get in around when price hits 40, if you can get some more options in, looks pretty solid. Looks like we already had our SR flip from this previous resistance. And it looks like it's going to challenge the highs. I can see this thing going up to $47. Nice little consolidation there. A little bit of bearish divergence. Not super concerned with that. I'd probably close trades below 40, but anything in here, I think will probably continue heading to the upside. Any other questions, guys? You see any trades you're eyeing right now?
I'm still watching Dusk. So Dusk had its high, right? Rejection on the double bottom. And then we're looking for structure, which would be really nice. So structure would be coming down to about 1680, 17 and change. We are finding, we're finding a decent pump here, and for this particular coin, that's actually really good. So that's 5% up. But we are getting rejection at our 7 and our 9 EMA. I don't expect this to hold. I know it does look really good. This would be a great little reversal. But I don't expect that 50 to hold. That's more of a gut than TA. I do expect this to come back to the 618, 706 area structure zone. We've seen this time and time again with these big, longer new coins, giving you this, good run, and then this real long, slow bleed that ends up being right back to structure. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm kind of eyeing it up. If this thing does cross and close to 7.9 on a 4-hour chart, I might go long to the 20. If that's even worth the trade. Let's say it happened here. Hell yeah, 9% trade, absolutely. So I'll be watching that. I'll be watching on the hourly, and I'll be watching on the 4-hour to see what kind of reaction we get to these faster EMAs. All in all, though, although that does look really good right now, it also looked really good here while it was trading up here, and then sold everything off and left us with a big giant wick. So this candle is absolutely no different than the candle prior to it, just hasn't gotten the wick yet. So, don't get fooled into thinking it's bullish just yet. Wait for confirmation. If we do get confirmation, I will be eyeing up a short temporary trade, eyeballing that 20. And that would just be 20 on the 4-hour chart, looking for resistance right there at that zone. And I would even probably expect further downside after that, rejection and then further. We do also have a pattern on here, which is a really cool pattern. I'm a big fan of harmonics. So we have our X down here, our A, and then our pullback levels. This is a 5-7. From B to C, so our A to C extension is a 1-1. And our C down to our D target would be an 886 is what we're eyeballing. That's confluence with our 706 and our structure zone. That's this whole big green area. Remember what we just talked about on that CMT chart, right? That one hesitation drop and the first retrace on a downtrend, how important these are, right? Same thing, bang, bang. This is exactly what we're targeting right here. And then the high side from this right here. So that's our zone. This is the area of interest, right? That's the very first time during the downtrend where we painted ourselves the intro of a trend, right? Where we had a low, a high, a higher low, right? So these areas are really important. Coming back and testing these areas just makes sense price action wise. We don't always do it, but we usually do. And when we do it, it just seems to make sense. Sometimes it catches you off guard, but it does happen. Here's a very small example right here. Here's our high, come back for a low. We're well within trend, low, high, high, low, high, high. And what do we do? Just follow the line over. Bang, right there. Come back and retest it. Find support, push back up. We almost tested it twice. Didn't need to. Higher, low, continuation to the upside. So this is that move, just on a much bigger scale. It's also if you can call it that, it's also a very large cup and handle. So follow the pink. You'll see the big bowl. It's highlighted in black. So now it's like nice and shaded. So that bowl's filled with whatever hot tea you really like. And then you pull it down. So I do these 3 different ways. I do a 3-8-2 pullback is shallow, a 5 pullback is average, and a 6-1-8 pullback is deep. Anything past that, and I kind of feel like it's no longer a cup and handle. But we have seen this same thing with the 706 and a 786 pullback, and that's just, essentially just throw a fib up there, see the 7-8, and buy the 7-8 because the 7-8 is usually just a fantastic place to buy pullbacks. But in any event, yes, I am watching this. I'm watching one. I am also watching ERD. I've been watching COS, Theta, BTT, BNB, Knowles, ONT. I'm watching a lot of the USDT pairs that are getting volume. ZRX and ZIL, they seem to all be getting volume in the last 3 to 5 days. So just keeping my eye on those, seeing what's shaking. Anchor was good last night. ADA was good earlier for a quick pop. Even BNB. BNB looked good for solid, 4, 5, 6% rip. So things are moving. They're just not as in your face as an alt season. You just sort of have to poke around and find these little guys. They're hiding out there somewhere. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much else yet. Litecoin is nearing the stop loss. That double bottom, that was our invalidation level. You always want your stop loss at your invalidation level. The other 2 trades, we basically put them at the lower end of the entry just to kind of manage our risk. Lower, we didn't want those to come all the way to stop loss, which I was fine with those. Litecoin, we are. Yeah, I mean, this is our invalidation level here, we did break out, but, Bitcoin doing its thing, Dominance doing its thing. So, we're nearing that invalidation level. And once that breaks, I think then that goes not so quietly into the night. Let's take a look at Link real quick before we pop off. Kind of doji after the sell-off. Kind of holding that top trend line resistance, so we'll have to watch and see what that one does. Do you guys want more trades on the website, or are they okay in Discord? I mean, I'm not sure like how many trades you guys are comfortable handling. I mean, I trade pretty much all day, and I'm trading a lot of positions, but and I'm in and out, so I can do a lot more trades. I just want to make sure that it's something that you guys can handle. From running this group for the last 2.5 years, I found that around like 3 to 5 is optimal. Even just kind of 3. Typically, the 3 that we put out are usually the best, but the problem is this market's kind of shit. So, when you're putting out only 2 or 3 trades, and you're hitting stop losses, it makes it look like your win-loss ratio is super, super shitty. But I'm posting plenty of winning trade setups in Discord. I'm just not posting as many on the website. So, I would follow both. Obviously, results will vary. We try and post our best setups on the website, but for some reason, whatever we post on the website doesn't seem to be hitting as well as the Discord channels. So. We can handle 100 per day. All right.
I don't know, man.
Fucking monster right there.
I don't know. That's a lot.
Even split on Discord and website. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out the best way, because mostly they've been going through the website, but because of the fast-paced nature of the market, I've been uploading them to Discord for people that are more active, that are people that are in the chat and kind of following along with the channels. But um, I'll try and consider a little bit more. Maybe I can redefine them. I do have to change the way that the stop loss is allocated so that it's more on the Discord for sure. Quick 3% 6% trades have been good on Discord. Yeah, man. They've been crushing it on Discord. The problem is, these swing trades that we're entering on the website for some reason, just not playing out super well. So maybe tagging everyone on Discord will be great. Yeah. So when I enter trades, I can definitely do that. And then what was I saying?
Delivery of stop loss.
No, there's something else. I forgot what I was saying.
You would like another bite.
Yeah, been loving the Discord trades. Yeah, and then I did have a shitcoin channel, but those are like super high risk. But some of them hit like crazy profits. BGG, I took like 500% profits. There was a couple of exchange tokens. But I wasn't sure if that was like too risky for you guys, because they were on like Huobi and Gate.io. And so like SWFTC, Swift Coin, that was like nowhere to be found except on the Swift exchange. But that did like, I don't know, 140%. So some of those are fun, but some of those they can wreck you for like 50%. So they're kind of high risk, high reward type trades. But mostly, I'm focused on the high liquidity, for signals. I look mostly for high liquidity trending coins. But for some reason, Link, Ren, they just kind of died and kind of pushed down. Oh, the other trade I wanted to look at was cost, because we were sitting on that trend line earlier. And it looks like we are attempting to, nope, for some reason my line's a little off. Okay, so we're holding our trend line for now, and we are holding above this 43 RSI level. But this is a expanding broad wedge to the upside, which usually has a pretty big reversal pattern to it. And we did lose this trend here to the downside. So keep an eye on costs. I'm not like super sold on costs. But we are hitting that long-term trend line that it's bounced from really, really nicely, but we are kind of overbought as far as like, just where we're at. We're in a pretty high level market cap, and if Bitcoin decides to pop off even harder, then I'm not liking it. I don't like that little bounce there, but let's see. Okay, so we are coming up to this pivot line. You can see here, this was support, a little bit of resistance, and we're coming up against that same exact line here. So I think this 10,900 level is the key level to watch here. I am expecting a pullback, and I'm hoping for 4 to 5% pullback down to that 10,450 level, and I hope that holds. But if it doesn't hold, then this was basically an A, B, and now we're waiting for that C to bring us to that 8,200, 8,800 and 9,200 level that we're watching for that SR on the RSI, as well as the 21 EMA on the weekly. So if we can't break this 10,900 level, then our first buyback zone would be 10,450. So we'll watch that if we get some reaction there. And if that breaks, then I think we'll be heading back down to this 8,800 level. That's my personal outlook on this, on the current trend, and that's but if we do break, then I'm expecting a retest of the top trend line here. I don't think we go full parabolic yet. I think we still have to consolidate. I would really like to see that 21 EMA tap first, and then have that bullish shift. But anything can happen, especially with the way that Trump's tweeting and with the market reactions and trade tensions and currency stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying these live streams. And if you guys want me to add or anything in Discord, or if you think anything will help you guys, make sure you DM me, or just make sure you tag me or Chinggis on Discord. And I will see you guys on the next one.